In 2008 in New York City, the Broadway stage was lit up like daylight, and the air was filled with nervousness and anticipation. 15-year-old Ariana Grande stood in the center of the rehearsal room for 13, her heart pounding like a drum, and her palms slightly sweaty. It's her debut, a completely new territory, but there's determination in her eyes. "Are you ready?" The director's voice sounded from the side of the stage, tentative. Ariana takes a deep breath and looks up with a confident smile. "I'm ready." The music starts, and her voice flows like a spring, penetrating every corner. Joan Grande, a mother in the audience, looks at her daughter on stage with tears in her eyes. "She really did it," Joan whispered to a friend next to her. "That's my little girl." On Broadway, Ariana found her place. It wasn't the end of her journey, but the beginning of her dream. However, as the musical came to an end, Ariana began to think about one thing. "I love the stage, but I love music more. How great would it be if I could tell stories with my voice?" In 2009, Ariana received an offer to audition for the Nickelodeon series Victorious. It was a turning point, but also an adventure. She knew that going into television meant that her music dreams might be put on hold, but she also knew that this was another way to get closer to them. On the day of the audition, Ariana wore a simple white blouse, and her red hair stood out in the light. She stood in the midst of all the candidates, feeling small and alone, but she told herself, "This is my chance, I can't miss it." As she began to perform, the director's eyes changed from disinterested to attentive. They saw her spirit and sensed her potential. Eventually, Ariana landed the role of Cat Valentine. With the airing of Victorious, Ariana became a favorite among teenage viewers. But there was always an unanswered question in her mind. "I don't want to be defined as a TV star," she told her mother one day after filming. "I want to sing. I want to make my own music." Joan looked at her daughter and gently nodded. "Then do it, Ari. No one can stop you." Ariana began recording cover songs in her spare time and uploading them to YouTube, where her covers of Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey classics quickly attracted a huge following and brought her to the attention of music producer Scooter Braun. "You have one of the most special voices I've ever heard," Scooter told her at their first meeting, "and I believe you can change the world." In 2013, Ariana released her debut album, Yours Truly. The album was a mix of vintage R&B and pop, showcasing her musical talent. The lead single, The Way, quickly hit the Billboard Hot 100, making her an overnight sensation. However, success was not easy. The media began to read too much into her image, with some calling her a sweet idol, and others questioning the depth of her music. "She's just another star in a package," a music critic sneered on the program. These words pierced Ariana's heart like a sharp blade. Late one night, she sat in the corner of the studio, tears silently slipping down her face. "Can I really do this?" she whispered to herself. She asked herself in a low voice. Producer Babyface came over and patted her on the shoulder. "Ariana, your voice cannot be ignored. Don't let the noise get to you." These words became her conviction. She began to focus more on her music and responded to all the skepticism with her work. In 2014, Ariana released her second album, My Everything. The album not only continued her musical style, but also added more electronic pop elements. The lead single, Problem, became a global hit, while Love Me Harder, a collaboration with The Weeknd, showed a more mature side of her. "This time, I want people to see a more real me," Ariana said at the album release. "I'm no longer just that sweet girl, I'm a person with a story." As her reputation grew, Ariana's life became more complicated. She began to feel a great deal of pressure from the media and the public, but she chose to free herself with her music. 2016's album Dangerous Woman was a total transformation. "When I sing this song, I feel like I can't do anything," she said in an interview. "It's a declaration of my power." On May 22, 2017, a terrorist attack occurred at Ariana's concert in Manchester, England, killing 22 people and injuring hundreds more. This tragedy brought her world crashing down in an instant. When she learned of the news, her hands were shaking and tears were streaming down her face. She told her manager, "This is all my fault. I let them come here." "No, Ari, it's not your fault," Scooter said. "We need to be strong and do something for those who are hurt." After weeks of deliberation, Ariana decided to organize a One Love Manchester benefit concert to raise money for the victims. When she stood on stage and sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, the entire audience burst into tears. "Music has the power to heal," she said at the end of the concert, "and I hope my voice can bring a little bit of light." In 2018, Ariana released the album Sweetener. It's a work of hope and love that shows her courage in emerging from tragedy. No Tears Left to Cry became her response to the events in Manchester, while God is a Woman is an ode to female strength. However, fate did not stop testing her. That same year, her ex-boyfriend Mac Miller died of a drug overdose, leaving her in pain once again. "I can't change what happened, but I can choose how I face them," Ariana wrote on social media. In 2019, she released the album Thank You Next. It's about self-healing and growth, with lead single Thank You Next thanking her for her past and looking to the future, while Seven Rings showcases her control and confidence in her life. Today, Ariana Grande is one of the most influential pop artists in the world. Her music is not just entertainment, it's a symbol of emotional resonance and strength. "I want my music to show everyone that no matter what you're going through, you can find your own light," she said in a speech. Her story, which began under the lights of Broadway, has taken countless challenges and twists and turns to become the voice of global pop music. And her journey continues.